Everyone? Everyone? Well, today we're going to do something a little creepy. Are you ready? It's going to be a skull. And then afterwards, we're going to eat it. Just kidding. We're going to make the skull. Are you excited? So, people always ask me what the best cake to sculpt is. Whatever you got at home. You got a Betty Crocker? Bake it up. You got a pound cake? Bake it up. Whatever you want to sculpt, sculpt. Maybe not the angel food. Save that for the strawberry season. All right, so what I've got here is a half sheet. And what I'm going to do is just stack another one right on top. I'm going to fill it a little bit because I'm going to do a two-dimensional skull. I do love to do sculpted cakes like this because they're fast, quick, easy to do, and they're just as impressive as some of the ones with the armatures and the more difficult ones. So here we go, a sandwich. Ta-da! Do you see the skull? Not yet, huh? We're working on it. I'm from Dallas, by the way. Anyone from Dallas? No. Yeah, I didn't think so. All right. So what I'm going to do essentially is carve this. This is going to be a big giant skull. Here's the chin. Here are the eyes right there. Ouch. You see that? Easy, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is carve the top of the head. I have a 12-inch cake knife. If you ask a chef, this is really not a cake knife, it's a roast carving knife. But we have taken it over as cake knives. All right. So there's some tricks to making a human face, which still applies to a skull. Where are your eyeballs? Right smack dab in the middle of your face. Look at that. Believe it? Look in the mirror. Where is your nose? Right smack dab between your eyes and your chin. Right there. Where's your lips? Right between your nose and your chin. It's amazing how that works out. Your eye is one eye apart. Funny, right? The top of your ear starts at your eyeball. The bottom of your ear starts or finishes depends on how old you are, right? For sure. All right. So now I'm going to contour the face a little bit. So far, pretty easy, right? Kind of skull-like. All it is a half circle up here. All right. And then I'm going to carve in and down. See that? I'm just cutting a piece out from the bottom right here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. If you can't eyeball it, you can use the first side as a template. I bet now you'll be able to see the skull. 3 cuts. You see it now? Don't be scared. It's just a cake. It's not real. All right. So then what we're going to do is we're going to carve a brow, because this is what the eyebrows are what makes things scary. So we definitely want to make the brow furrowed and scary. All cakes don't have to be sweet. This one is a little bit evil. All right, now the eyes. Did you see how I just accented the brow bone just by cutting a little bit just in here? So far, a little like rocket science? No, it's just cake making, right? All right. So then I'm going to contour out the eyeballs. Stick your knife in, spin it around. Easy. This is the best part of the cake right there. It's similar to the part of the chicken underneath, right there, the eyeball part. And then the same thing on the other side. See that? Oh my gosh, almost there. All right. So then I definitely don't want to chin this sharp. I'm going to contour the bottom a little bit. Now, some people like to use templates. You can do that too. You can cut this out of a piece of paper first if you feel a little scared or nervous. But I promise by the second time you do it, you won't need one. See the chin? So round it here, round it here. This is just tapered in there. You guys see it yet? Ah! All right. So then I'm going to contour the edges because I do want it to look like a skull's been chopped in half and placed on this board. So at a 45-degree angle, I'm going to make this cake appear round. You see that? I'm just cutting off little pieces. Now, there's several ways of sculpting a cake. Some people will meticulously carve all of the detail into the actual cake, and it takes a long time, and they'll make every contour, every curve, every line perfectly in the cake. That is not my method because I am not patient enough for that. So what I do is I carve the basic shape out of the cake, and then I ice it with a heavy coat of icing, and then I actually cover it with fondant and then sculpt the fondant. This is my favorite thing to do, but I'm a real cake nerd. So you see now the rounded skull? Pretty cool? If you want to make the brow more accented a little bit more, what you can do is you can take a piece of the cake that you've already removed. Look at that! A monobrow. See? That's it. Easy, right? If you want to make that little snout nose, the bone, there it is. I know you're thinking, wow, she's real good. Geez, look at that. All right, but don't worry, I'm getting there. All right, so now to finish the look of the round, what you want to do is you want to contour the bottom as well. You want to give the impression, again, that this skull has been sliced down the middle and placed on the board. So that same angle, 45 degrees, I'm just going to run the knife around the board. See that? Cool? Don't worry. Sometimes they get away, but not often. Catch it. Any questions so far? You guys all got it, right? Now, one thing that some people have a hard time remembering when they sculpt a face is that you kind of have a barrel for a mouth. Think of it as a barrel, right? It's a very cylindrical shape here. All right, so I'm going to round this mouth out a little bit. Think of the shape of your teeth. That's kind of how your face is. And then I'm going to carve in a little bit for the cheekbones. You see it? You might have a hard time seeing it until I cut some teeth, so I just cut some teeth. Ta-da! Cool, huh? And I'm done. Just kidding. You can cut part of the chin off. See that? I just cut a wedge out. I want to drop that chin, and I want to lift that head up a little bit. So then I'm going to cut a wedge out of that first piece I cut out. Are you freaked out? Don't freak out. It's just cake. It's just cake. You know what happens if it doesn't work? You eat it, and guess what? Tastes the same. Tastes the same. But see what a difference that did? Now it's looking at you. So then the next step is to ice it. A lot of people stress out about the icing. Don't stress. It's just icing. And icing is a happy substance. It should not make anyone stress. A lot of people like to ask me, what kind of icing do you like best, Bronwen? Whatever kind is in front of me. I like American buttercream, Canadian buttercream, Italian buttercream, German buttercream, English buttercream, Swiss buttercream, French buttercream, whatever, anything. I like it all. All that and whipped cream too. For something like this, I would use something that's heavy on the fat. Delicious. Heavy on the butter. All right. So again, don't stress. It's just icing. Ready? Do you see that? Do you see me sweating? Crying? No. Are you freaked out? Don't freak out. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Use whatever kind of spatula you like best. Ta-da, ta-da. Normally on a cake that's 2D like this, I will ice it almost to the bottom edge. Because when you roll it with fondant and you cover it, what's going to happen? The buttercream is going to squish down to the edge anyway, right? If you do ice it all the way down to the edge, you'll get icing on the fondant, right? Well, I like to save as much fondant as I can around the cake, so I will try not to ice the bottom portion. If you make a mistake, all you do is just, like say I just happen to cut this off right here. What would I do? First step, don't cry. Second step, deep breath. Third step, possibly a glass of wine if it was a real bad one. Fourth step, a little buttercream. That's all you need, okay? Buttercream is the glue in the cake world. Look at that, right? Again, first rule, no tears, all right? If it gets really bad, you throw it really hard into the trash can. And then you'll do a victory dance, because you won! You beat that cake! All right. It happens. Everyone makes mistakes. I make at least 52 an hour. The detail is going to come with my favorite tool, my fingers, and a Dresden. If you don't have one of these fancy things, they also make them and sell them in the grocery store. They're called bamboo skewers. Some of the little short ones called toothpicks. You don't really need one of these. I just love it. But you do need these. All right, everybody got them? Perfect. Get them out of your pockets, wash them, and then you're ready. All right. So the detail will come in with the fondant. So now we're going to have to roll out the fondant. So I brought my strong muscles with me. Daniel, right there. He actually makes all the FondX. We use a lot of fondant at the bakery. We order it by the ton. Nobody likes to put away that shipment though. Whew, that's a lot of buckets, but it's a good workout. So, can you do this? Yes, right? Easy, right? Look at it. Looks like something my nephew made, right? I know what you're all thinking. Look at that mess she has got over there. All right, but we're going to turn it into an angry skull. First thing we got to do is knead the fondant. That's Daniel's favorite thing to do, he told me right before. Woohoo!
Have you been working out, Daniel? Yep.
All right. Why do you need the fondant? You need the fondant to work it. You need to make sure it's elastic. Look what happens when it comes right out of the bucket. Are you ready? Oh, that's no fun. There's no elasticity. You have to knead it. And if you think you're done, keep kneading a little bit more. Then you think you're done again, then a little bit more, and then finally you'll be done. I'm ready.
For that size cake, approximately how much fondant?
How much fondant? I would say exactly the size of 2.25 Texas grapefruits. This much. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, I was just kidding about the grapefruits.
I was going to ask how much that was
In
in oranges.
oranges? Nice. In metric. Oh gosh. All right. So are we done? No. Almost. And Daniel brought his favorite rolling pin with him. Do you guys have one of these high-tech rolling pins? Isn't this the prettiest thing you've ever seen? Yes. I have a little red wagon. I take this with me wherever I go. Actually, it's pink. I'm lying. This is the high-tech version of this. This is this plugged in and on steroids. All right, Daniel.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Show them how to work it. Absolutely. There you are.
He's asking if it's edible.
Of course it's edible. Do you know what this is? Do you know how Daniel makes this? He goes to the store and he buys 72 million packages of Oreos. And then he opens them all up, twist, and then he scrapes it, and then he puts it all like this. Look at that! He eats all the cookies though.
Well, look at me.
He does eat the cookies.
You have had a couple of cookies today,
It does. It tastes like the inside of an Oreo. And that's the part I like to eat first. All right, Daniel. See? It doesn't hurt. Does it hurt? Did it give you a shock? No. Look at him go! Go!
Well, first of all, I have to turn it on. Will it work? Or do I have to go like this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's working.
Nice.
So, I put a little bit of starch so it doesn't stick in between the rollers. This machine has a 17 notches, so you have a 17 degradation until you get to the thinnest one. I don't think we want to go really thin. But this is the way you save your energy, your insanity, and no carpal tunnel. So you save the doctor bill. It's a good investment. So I just push it through. Turn it the other way around. Go a little 3 notches.
Oh, that's beautiful. I bet you could make a mean pizza.
I'm at 10 now. I was at 17, now at 10. Make sure you push on the right hand, receive on the left. If you are lefties, oh, we're in trouble, aren't we?
So while he's going to do that, I'm going to spritz this cake. If you have a buttercream that crusts, sometimes you need to spritz it. I always have one of these in my purse. It's full of vodka. I'm just kidding. I don't really have it in my purse, in my suitcase. So I'm just going to spritz it. Do you have to use vodka? No, but it just makes for a more fun cake. You can use water. How thick do I want it?
How thick should you
That's
have
the
this?
question. Everybody always wants to know how thick should you have it rolled to?
What I have right now is about a 1/4 inch.
A little more.
I cannot do more.
Yes, you can. You want me to plug in my machine?
I need you to put your pink machine on.
I will plug it in. Oh my gosh. In metric, what is that? You know, a kilometer, about a kilometer, maybe a kilometer, 2 kilometers. Yeah. A quarter of an inch. Less than a quarter of an inch.
I think that's about 1/16.
Yeah, we're a little thinner now.
Yeah, it's about 4 millimeter. Am I still correct?
All
More or
right.
less. 3.5. Thank you.
So how do you pick it up? Well, you could roll it on your pin, or you could just flink. Go ahead. All right. So now we're going to cover them up. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Gosh, now we roll.
All right. So you see, the first thing you do is you roll it out, stick it on, and then you find your edges with your hands. Now, one thing that I see a lot of people do is they get out the fondant smoother. Why? This is not a flat surface. Fondant smoothers are for flat surfaces. These are for contoured surfaces. If you get a rip in the middle of the fondant, you add a flower, of course, right? That's the question. Some kind of a piece of decor. Usually at that point, what I do is I throw the cake in the freezer, I have a cup of coffee / wine, and then I let the fondant and the buttercream underneath firm up, and then you can take it out maybe 15 minutes later, score right through the fondant, peel the fondant off, use the fondant again because the buttercream stuck to the cake and not the fondant, and do it again. And just be glad for that extra bit of practice, right? Cool. All right. So you see how I use my hands? Don't worry about the excess right now, because this will dry out. It's okay. Leave it there. You see how I'm working on that eyebrow?
This is when your pretty nail doesn't really cut it.
Yeah, you got to have a fondant manicure, but your toes can look fabulous. It doesn't matter. I put all my cakes in the fridge because I put lots of delicious, good goo in the middle. Lemon curd and pastry cream and yummy, yummy, goody goo. Because it's all about the goo, right? You want the goo. We have a big goo to cake ratio. All the cakes go in the fridge. It's Texas. It's 110 degrees outside in the summertime. What would happen if I took my buttercream and put it outside? Oh my gosh, it would completely melt. So I do put every cake in the fridge. I put it in a corrugated cardboard box, sealed, all right? When I take it out, I don't just take it out immediately. You need to let the cake temper to room temperature slowly, right? Usually I do this on its way to delivery, right? This cake stays in the box. We peek at it really quick just to make sure nothing fell off. It's got both its arms or all of its flowers or whatever. Close it back up and take it to delivery. By the time it gets to deliver, it's beautiful room temperature. Yeah? Oh, you need this kind of fondant. It doesn't melt in the fridge. Some fondants melt in the fridge. It depends on what the ingredients are. Sugar melts in water, right? You need other things in there to help it keep it from not melting. That's one of the major reasons why I use this fondant, because every cake goes in the fridge. You see what I did? I poked my fingers in there, right? I'll give it some lines. I'll get my favorite tool / uh-oh. Oh my gosh, it's somewhere on here. Yeah, there it is. Woo! Did you see? That was as close as I get to panic. That's it. All right, now the teeth.
For this?
That's it. That's it. I have about 412. I have them in my purse. I have them in my office. I have them in my car. I've always got spares around. I've got so many. Did you see what I did? I just used my finger there, right? Starting to look like a skull, right? Now, here's my gum tools. I'm going to use them all at once. See that? Creepy. Same thing on the other side. All right, and now I'm going to add the creepy lines with my Dresden. The skull, there's lines in a skull. Again, it's those eyebrows that are going to make it look mean and Halloween-like. Are you scared? Don't be scared. Don't be scared. So the teeth I'm going to make after, and I'm going to add them on. See, just a few lines makes it really creepy. All right, and then I'll add teeth. Cool. I'm going to trim around the edge. Another thing that I use the Dresden for is to tuck the fondant in around the sculpted cake. And I'll use a little of that to make the teeth with. Who knows how to model a tooth? You do. She's a dentist. She knows for real. She knows. A tooth is nothing more than a kind of a short, squished carrot. Is that right? That's really how they're described, right? That's what you learned in school? A short, squished carrot. All right. Let me have a little bit. How do you make a carrot? Roll a ball. Open your hands like a book. Squish it. Tooth. That's quite a big tooth. Start with smaller ball, smaller carrot, squish it. He does have buck teeth, this guy. Now, you start with the bottom unless you want to give him an overbite like a pug or an underbite, right? So start with the bottom. How are you at making teeth, Daniel? I bet you could do it. You want to make some teeth?
Go to her and pick
Yeah.
up those.
I bet she could do it really well. Totally well. You see? Can you see those? What do you think about those? Yeah? Okay. Huh. So the best thing about skulls is that they don't have all their teeth. So how many teeth does a skull have? How much patience do you have? They're kind of related. So we'll give them a few bottom ones, then a couple of big top ones. Ta-da! So now you see his teeth sticking out like that? He's kind of creepy. Ah! But now you're thinking, well, he's all plain and white. What are you going to do with them? What I do with all the cakes, I love to airbrush. That is my favorite thing besides making teeth out of fondant. I think we'll give them some pointed teeth. You know, vampires, they're popular. You see that? How's that grin? All right, so now we're going to airbrush it really quick. What's your favorite airbrush, Bronwen? Whichever one is working at the moment. Normally, whichever one is clean at the moment. Typically, when I airbrush from light to dark, but I'm going to do dark to light this time. I want this to look really creepy. And look, I've already given him a couple of freckles. Did you see that when I opened it? So what happens if that happens to you? What do? Throw it away and start over. Just kidding. The answer's always vodka. You remember that little spritz bottle of vodka I keep in my purse? You can take a clean towel, not the gross one you've been wiping your table with, and spritz it a little bit, and then you can just touch it. Oh my gosh, it's like an eraser made of alcohol. You see that? Gone. All right? So remember, the answer is always vodka. What did you learn from Bronwen? Vodka. All right. That is on the web. No, just kidding. All right. So, woo! See, they always try and get away, but they never can. So what I'm going to do, when you airbrush a cake, you got to remember that the color comes out in the direction of the gun, right? So if I airbrush like this, I'm going to be airbrushing you. When I airbrush the cake, I need to point it down towards the cake. All right? Now you can see how just a little, can you hold that? Just a little bit makes it already scary. Are you scared? Don't be scared.
I think that's a finish, a white skull.
Not quite, not quite. All right. So I'm going to paint the inside of the nose. Now I'm going to shoot directly across. I know I just told you not to do that, but then I'm going to hit all of the shadow. You see that, what that does? Crazy. Now normally I will airbrush the bottom of the board towards the cake, bottom, dark. Why? Because skulls don't have borders, right? Have you ever seen a skull with a shell border? No. What about a bead border, pearl border? No. No borders, right? So I usually just disguise it by making it a little dark. It kind of adds to the creepiness. You see that? Awesome. The further back you go with the airbrush, the finer the mist. You see that? It's going to hit it in a more speckled pattern. If you want to have those freckles on it, you know, like some old skulls have like dirt and freckles on it, then you just put your finger in the stream and pull back a little bit. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's like freckles. Freckles. That's what happened to me. Yeah, that's why I have so many. My mother did this. That's very technical. But you know what? You can use any finger, any of them. All right. So then, a little more, almost done. The hardest part for me about scary cakes is leaving the glitter off, because the glitter is my favorite part of anything. And then I'm going to use white, and then we are done. Now the white is going to blend it a little bit. Now the white is the only food coloring that's translucent. That's why you have to shake it up. You see it all stuck to the bottom like that? That was also technical. Both hands. So until it's released from the bottom. Always clean your gun when you go from dark to light. How do you clean your gun? Throw it in a bucket of water. You could buy the fancy airbrush cleaner, or you could throw it in a bucket of water. Now this is just going to blend the color a little bit. Add to the creepiness.
Folks, just remember, if you're looking for gluten-free, yet that gluten-free sweet treat, head on over to the 714.
Creepy. I think the fun thing to do would be to add 2 of those little tiny battery-operated lights right in the middle, because that would be awesome. All right. Fantastic. We're done. What do you think? Is it creepy? Are you scared? Don't be scared. Just cake. Not really evil. Right? Cool. Did you have fun? Can you all make a skull now? Yes. Cool.
Bronwen, that was wonderful.
Thank you.
Lovely. Can we get a round of applause, please? You've been very entertaining and scary all at the same time.
Scary. Scary.